Welcome back to day 5. Right. This is where we were yesterday. We tried to put in a GIF, if you remember, and so we tried adding some GIFs, but they were not animating, and so if you remember, we tried to install the NativeScript Gift plugin. We have some code here that we commented out because it wasn't working, and you can see the folder on the left that we installed yesterday. Well, so I had a look, and I think it's to do with the fact that we're using the preview app, which doesn't have NativeScript GIF built in. This is my assumption because I couldn't find anything else on how to get it to work within the playground over here. So if we did want to get that to work, I believe we would have to go leave the playground and basically install the I think it's called Sidekick, NativeScript Sidekick, onto our desktops, and then code using the terminal and a proper code editor, and then building the app that way, so that the app actually is its own it's your app instead of you seeing your code on their preview app. So all of that's is definitely possible. It's not too hard at all. I'm going to be covering the process of doing all of that, getting the app out of the preview, out of NativeScript's preview app and onto your own app, so it's got its own icon, and so that you can share it. That will all be covered in the 1-month course. So for today, we'll continue with what we've got. So the GIFs won't animate, but they still look funny, and so we'll polish up the app today, and then I'll go over the next steps on what you could do. Right. So we can delete all of this stuff to do with the NativeScript GIF, just so that we don't have any unused code. There's no point having that. And we can delete this folder, doing the 3 arrows here, press delete. Yes. Cool. Okay. So yesterday's homework, if you guys did it, it was basically to add the GIF image for the other conditions. So if you remember, so there's this method here called setImage, which is called after we get the weather data, and depending on the type of weather, the icon was changing. So for example, if it was raining, thunderstorm or drizzle, it was choosing the rainy image. And then we used this same piece of code and these conditions to apply our GIF images. So the homework was so we did it for the first one, and the homework was to do it for the others. So it's quite simple. I'll just show you here. You just copy and paste the this.gif image and paste it in the other blocks under the this.images. So I need to do it here and here. Okay, and so press save. And then when you press save, if your app is if the preview app is not automatically updating, then you might need to rescan the QR code. So you can open the Playground app, and then open the Playground app and then click QR code and then scan that, and hopefully your app should then update whenever you press save. if you're having any issues, just let me know. Okay, so right, so I've got the same GIFs for all of these, which is not good. So I'm gonna quickly, so this URL is for a rainy GIF. I'm gonna update the other URLs. So this is a cloudy one. Okay. These are all boring. Right. I think I like this one. Okay, so when you find the GIF on giphy.com, you click onto it, and then you click on copy link over here on the right, and then double click on the GIF link, copy it, should get a green banner at the top, and then go back to your code and replace the URL with the new image, and then I'll do the same very quickly for, what is that, snow, yeah, snow and clear, fine, snow, yeah, okay. And then clear, where is that? Oops, that probably doesn't make sense. Clear weather. Sure, why not this one? Okay. Okay, press save. Let's see. If there's anything you'd like me to cover today in terms of polishing up, just leave a comment. Cool, that looks good. Alright, so I'm now gonna, so we've got the main bits of the app done. I'm now gonna, for the rest of today, go over how I want it to look, changing little things, mainly with the CSS, and hopefully you can get an idea of the sort of things you can do with styling on an app. And feel free to make it your own. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. So yesterday I said I liked the border radius, having the rounded edges, but actually I don't like it anymore. So remember we had the Gif image class that was on the GIFs, so we can go there and then we can update the border radius. So I want to reduce it to I'm going to reduce it to 0 for now, and then also I just want the image to span across the whole width. So PT's asking if I can see my dimensions for the GIF image. So on the GIF image, if I go to the template, so this is the image element, which contains the GIF image, and there's a class called Gif Image on it. So if you look at the Gif Image CSS. Here's all the code to do with any dimension or styles, and all I've got here is a max height of 500 pixels, and I'm going to leave that in there because sometimes the images get really long. Right, so I've got a 0 border radius, and I'm going to see what it looks like with no margin, so of 0. So press save. So that's got no margins now. And notice how this is being applied to both the loading GIF and the GIF in the main image, in the main screen. So I'm happy with this, I think. Yeah, the max value of border radius is 100%. If you wanted it to be round, totally round, then you would put a border radius of 100%, but then you'd also have to make sure the dimensions of the image are like of a 1-to-1 ratio, so a square. I mean, you can force that by giving it an explicit height of, let's say 400 pixels and a width of 400 pixels. And now if I save this, it should be round. Let's see. We'll wait for the main image to load. Yeah. So yeah, that's another option. And then if the image just happens to have a height less than 400, then it doesn't turn into a proper square. So you'll have to play around with that. Right, let's go back. Press save. Oh, I don't want the border radius. But so this image is now too close to the text. So Batman's too close to the loading text. So I need to re-add a margin. So let me go over what you can do with margin. So this is what we had before, 10 and 50. And what that means is, so the first number is how much margin to have at the top and the bottom. And then the second number is how much margin you want on the right and left. So if you're not comfortable with remembering what exactly these numbers are going to represent, the other way to do this is to do it explicitly. So you have a margin hyphen top, and so because Batman was too close to the loading text, I want to separate him, and I'll give it a margin top of 20 pixels. And now you can see there is a bit of a gap, and you can do the same for margin bottom, and then you can give it a different a different number if you wish. So, and the same you can do for margin hyphen left and right. So it's up to you if you want to do it the explicit way or the shorthand way, as we have up here. And if you wanted the loading GIF to be 100%, if you wanted it to take up basically the whole screen, it's definitely possible. The only problem you might have is a lot of the GIFs are of low resolution, so it might look rubbish, but you can always spend that time and find a good looking GIF with a higher resolution. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, so because we're going to work on the loading GIF, I don't want it to just hide after a few seconds. I want to keep it there. So let's manually set is busy to be always true. So we've got it here, but this is when the app first starts. It says is busy is true, and then I think down below we are changing that so that it's false. Yeah, over here. So let's change that to true. And what this is going to do is it's basically going to not set isBusy to false, and so the loading screen should it should just stay forever. All right, and then if we wanted to make Batman 100% take up the full width. Oh, what happened there? Oh right, so although the loading screen isn't going away because you can still see it, like the loading text in the background, but I think the other template code above, where is that? That's being rendered. And so let's have a look why that's happening. So we've got an isBusy here, and we've got an isBusy here. So these should only display, well, this label should only display if it's not loading anymore. Right, what I'm going to do is, to make this simpler, right, so yeah, if you wanted the loading GIF to take up 100% off the loading screen, it would. So I mean, what I was going to show is basically it just covering the whole text. But there are ways where you can have the text overlay on top, and you can also do that just using CSS. And right, so what I want to do is, because we've got this weird looking screen right now where so isBusy was just never set to false, and so we've got some text overlapping some other text, which doesn't look good. It wouldn't happen in a real scenario because obviously we wouldn't be doing this manual override, but let me show you a cleaner way to do these isBusies. Right, so we've got two sections of the app. We've got the loading section, which you've commented, and the main section. So instead of having like so many isBusies, let's just have two. Okay, so let's start off by removing all of the isBusies, like that. And for the activity indicator, set busy to true. Okay, and then above in the stack layout, we want to put the if condition there, so that one isBusy covers the whole block instead of having a separate one on the activity indicator and the label. So now if it's busy, this whole block will show, and if it's not busy, that block won't show. And then we'll do the same for the block below. And I'll just give you 10 seconds, see if you can figure that one out. Okay, so you just have to copy this one, paste it over here in the stack layout, and then let's remove all of the other isBusies within that section. So there should be two. Right, so now if you do a command or a control F and type in isBusy, you should have a total of 4 references within the document, which is so if we go to number 1, so the first one you'll see is for the loading section. The second one is for the main app. The third reference is where we are setting it to true, and then the fourth reference is where we should be setting it to false. Right, and then so if we go back to the top, so we've just added the if condition here for the main part of the app. So we've got an if condition, so this main part of the app will show when it's busy. There is one mistake here. Can you see it? Yeah, so you need the exclamation mark because we don't want to show it when it is busy. We want to show it when it's not busy. Now let's press save. Okay. And yeah, this should now show forever. Right. So if you notice, the background color changed, and that's because the background color changing does not depend on isBusy's. So that's why that happened, and let's show you why. So we changed the background after we got the weather data and we're passing the response. So here's the block. So although we're not showing the main app, the code is still running in the background, and so in the background, when the weather data does come through, it's updating the temperature color, and so that updates the background of the app. Cool. Alright, so what were we doing? And Batman's gone. Why is Batman gone? Okay. So let's see why Batman is gone. We've got the GIF images that we're setting here. Let's put this back to false and then see what the app looks like in a normal scenario. Alright, Batman's still gone. Okay, put that back to true and then go back to the template. Let's see what's wrong. Aha, I know what's wrong. So because we put this if condition here, and I'm going to pause for about 10 seconds to just see if you can have a quick think. Why is Batman not showing? Why is my GIF not showing on the loading screen? So the change that we made was we made the whole sections, these stacked layouts, to be conditionally shown. And if you look at the loading section here, there is no GIF image, because before we were relying on this section to always be visible, and so whenever the GIF image was loaded, that image would show. So let's copy that and add one over here and press save. Cool, we got Batman back. And so very quickly, if we just go down to the GIF image and let's give it a height of 100% and a width of 100%. Press save. Press save. Is that working? Delete that. Okay. No, that's not working. Right, so I think probably the better way to do this, instead of just giving this image 100% height, if you wanted to give give a screen a background image or a page a background image, you could use so there is a CSS thing that you can put onto the page itself. So we're setting a background color here to this page. So in a similar sense, we can set a background image to this page, and we can do that via CSS. So let's try that. So the GIF image, just to remind everyone, I copied the GIF image from the main section and then I pasted it underneath the label in the loading section. Okay. Right, so I'll go back down to the page and let's try this. Background image URL. Oh, not that. Let's paste the URL. And let's do a, oops. A tall GIF. Right, it's giving me tall people instead. That's fine. Let's, alright, this is nice. Copy link. Oops. So copy that, go back to the code, paste that over here. Now press save. It might not work in the first instance. Yeah, so what's going on? So you can see that now the whole page has a background image, but instead of it expanding, instead of it stretching to fill the whole page, it's basically in a framed layout. So you've got, I think this is basically the image is duplicated twice to fill up the screen, which is also fine. If you didn't want it to do that, there are other things you can do, such as, I think it's, let's Google it, background image CSS cover. Right, it's background size. I'm just copying the code so that I can send it if anyone's lost. Let's fork that. Okay, so we've got a background image on the page, and now I'm going to show you how to change, like there's different, you can have the image do different things. Right now it's in a, I think it's called in a frame scenario, but you can have it just cover the whole thing instead of duplicating its image twice. So let's see what we can do here. So there it is. So currently our image is repeating itself. So let's add this block, background repeat, no repeat. You can just type what I'm typing. Okay. So under background image, we want a new line, and that will be background hyphen repeat colon no repeat. So now the image shouldn't take up the whole, well technically it shouldn't because it won't be repeating itself. Let's press save and see. Yeah, so it's not filling up the whole page because we've now put in a no repeat. If the image was big enough, then yeah, it would fill up the page, but the resolution is, the dimensions are smaller than the dimensions of the phone. So to do the, to make it fill, what you can do is background size. Again, you can just type what you see here. And so that's background size, and what we'll choose is cover. so that it covers the whole page. Yeah, like that. But this image is bad because the resolution's not great and it just looks pixelated and you can hardly see the text. So one way to make the text stand out would be to, or you could try changing the color, but that'll still be hard. You could give the text a background color. Fine. But now I think I don't want this GIF. Actually, let me find a proper loading GIF. I mean, you can find any image on the internet, that's fine, just as long as you've got the exact URL to that image. And let's find a long queue. Oh, so if you do want some high quality images, there's unsplash.com. So because our GIF's not working anyway, you can just choose a normal image, and unsplash.com gives you free high resolution photos, and you don't have to even credit the authors, although it is recommended you do. But you don't have to, and you can use them for commercial purposes. They're free and there's no copyright issues. So if I do a long queue, they don't really have a queue, but right. I'm going to pick this image and then I'll need to copy the link somehow. So copy image address by right clicking, change that here, press save. So Ebube, you're saying your background repeat is not working. Just have a look if it's the exact same, if you've got the exact same code as I have. If not, I can help you after. So sometimes there might be a difference in the CSS on different browsers or devices. So generally, if something works on one iPhone, it'll work for all of the other iPhones. But then there might be some slight differences if you're on Android. But I mean, yeah, 90% of things work the same. So yeah, hopefully you don't get in that situation. But without the background, if you just put background size cover, that should also mean that you're not going to be repeating the background image. So this should be the same thing by not having that. And right, so that's that. I've got my loading sign. I don't like this background image because it's covering the text, so let's add a background to the text itself. And I'm going to probably get rid of my loading GIF because the GIF doesn't work anyway. But let's see. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find the text, the loading text, and I want to add a background color to the text. So we have to style that element, which means that element needs a class, so we can then target it in the CSS. So here is the loading label, and we'll add a class. We'll just call it the loading label, like that. So whenever you want to style an element, make sure it's got a class and you can just create a new class every time unless you want to reuse a previous class. So we've got loading label here, and now if we go back down to the CSS, we can create some. Okay, let's put it under here. So what did we call it? We called it the loading label. And then let's give it a background color of, so my text is white, so it needs to be something that will show up on white, and I'll put black for now. I've misspelled background, so let me fix that. Press save. Cool, so now the text is visible. Okay, I want to, so now that we're done with the loading screen, I want you to fix the app, because right now the loading screen's not going away. So if you remember, we made a manual override. We changed something to always show the loading screen. Just try and find where we changed that and change it back, and you've got 10 seconds. Right, so that was up here. We want to change is busy to false after we've got all of this weather data. Press save. And now the background image takes some time for me to load, and that's because I'm using a high resolution image and it's loading it straight from the internet, and that's why it's slow in loading. If you wanted to optimize any of this, like any of the images, what you would do in a real scenario is you would, where possible, you would store these images local to your app. So you would download the images and then put them in a folder, like the images folder, for example, and then just reference that, similar to how the icons are done. So for example, this is how we're referencing the icons, using this structure, images/rainy. So if you go to the images folder, you should see a rainy image. Yeah, you've got rainy.png there. So if you wanted to optimize the app, you would download the images, put them into the images folder, and then reference it in a similar way to how it's done here. And now all of my other text is, you can't even read it. And so I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the previous screen, that I did for the loading thing. So I created a class called loading label, and I gave that a background color of black. I want to do the exact same thing for the other text and the other labels. So instead of writing a new class for each one of those, I'm going to make a reusable class, so there's less code. And wherever possible, and where it makes sense, if you can write less code, that's better, because it's then more maintainable. So I'm going to change this to be, I'm going to call it instead of a loading label, I'll call it a black label. Okay, and then copy that, and then we need to update the loading label class now. Okay, so that it also applies the same CSS. And then let's copy this class and add it to any other label we want. So let's, right, so by the way, you can't do this. You can't have two of the same class. You can't have two class attributes on one element. I think the second one will get applied only instead of the first one. So what you want to do instead is you just put so within the class value, so you've got bold here, just put a space and then type in the name of the other class. And then if you wanted more, you just put a space, and then you can add as many classes you want to one element, and you just have to separate them with a space. Okay, and then let's add the class to these other two labels. Press save. Oh, we missed the city. Why didn't the city work? Oh right, so I put the wrong class on there. That should be label. Save. I mean, now our app just looks maybe a bit too funky, so I mean you can remove the page background and forget about these the labels for these texts, the background on these labels if you want. And because let me add a margin back to this main GIF as well now. Let's do that. And then we can also add humidity. Doesn't look that good. That's fine. Right, let me try add a margin to the main image. So the main GIF image. Go back down to the CSS. And where are we? By the way, so we've got another question. Does the order of these things matter? So, no. Well, yes. The order matters in some cases. So, in terms of what we have right now, in this page class, it doesn't matter what order you put it in, it should still act in the same way. But let's say you had let's say you had this margin of 30, and what that means, it's this 30 is being applied to all sides, the top, the right, the bottom and the left. Okay, so that's being applied all around that element. And then if you were then to have a margin top of 10 pixels, that would override whatever you did above it. So in that case, the order matters. So in this scenario, you've got a margin 30 all around the page, and then because of the second line, the margin at the top is going to be reduced to 10. So the order matters in that case, but it shouldn't matter in terms of the background image size or no repeat. So let's go back. What was I doing? Right, the GIF image, I wanted to put a margin back on that. So let's put a margin of 20. See how that looks. Yeah, that looks quite cool actually. Yeah, it's okay. Fine. So we've got another question. How do we download a GIF? So let's see how you do it on Giphy. So you click onto a GIF. Let's see if they got a download button anywhere. I mean, most likely you will just right click on it and do save image as. Yeah, I mean, that's what you would probably do. Let me just show you. So let me find a decent weather image. Okay. So I'm going to download this GIF. I'm going to right click on it, save image as, and let's call it the loading weather. That's done. And then once you've got that saved, you can come back here and then click on the images folder and the 3 dots onto the right of it, add file, not that, upload resources, browse, downloads, find your GIF. Oh, it doesn't let you upload a GIF, it seems. Probably because, yeah, it says you can only upload pictures. I mean, one way around that is to change the file extension. So let's come here. So instead of a GIF, I'm going to change this to a PNG. And then click use PNG. That should then change the format, and then you can drag that. Or let's click browse. And now it's available. Thanks, Adri. Right, so now we've got the loading weather image here. We can go back to Hello World view. And then find the loading image, which was here. And we're going to change this reference to be similar to the others. Where is it? Here it is. So copy that, or type what you see now. So we're going to delete this and then delete the colon, because we just want the source to take whatever we type within the speech marks. And that will be this, but it will be the loading weather .png. Oops. Yeah, that worked. And there was no delay there. Also, I don't like my background image, so I'm going to remove that. I don't want that. Feel free to have, to make this app your own, do your own styles, your own images. And don't forget to share what you've made, either in the Instagram group that we've got. If you're not part of the group, just find us on Instagram and you'll see a post on how to get access to it. You can send it there, or I don't know, just post it on your own social channels and hashtag 1 month app or @us. I removed the image here. It didn't show up. Let's press save again. There it is. And then I'm going to remove my background. Well, actually, so because I've now removed the background image, I no longer need the backgrounds on the text, on the labels. Yeah, I don't need it on any of them. So one option is for me to just go ahead and delete the classes from all of the elements. But because they're all using the same one class, the easier way, it might not be the right way, but the easier way is to just delete what that class is doing. So I'll just delete that line, press save. Now it should be back to normal. Yeah. Cool. Right, so I mean we're nearly out of time, but let me tell you what you can do after. So to make the GIFs work, that'll be a bit more difficult because you'll have to come out of this playground, this nice playground that we have within the browser. That I'm going to cover in the 1 month course, how to come out of this playground and make the app go onto your phone, and then you can use custom plugins like the NativeScript GIF. But if you want to stay in the playground, what else can you do? Well, to make this app more cool, what you can do is, so you can obviously make it look like how you want it to do, play around with the styles, play around with the images, maybe download all of the images that you want, so there's no delay in using it. And then also the text, you can change the positioning of the text, or for example you could have Friday afternoon in, and then your city name, and that could be all on one line, for example. And then you've got clouds over here, which is, let's see where we're setting the summary. So here's the summary, and what you could do instead is okay, so an easy way to change this text, the summary text, is so for example, where we're changing the GIF image depending on the weather, we can change the summary text here as well. So what you could do, what have I got now? I've got clouds, right? So here I could write this dot summary is equal to, and then instead of just saying it's cloudy, you can maybe give the user an action to do. So if it was rainy, I would write, grab an umbrella. If it's cloudy, you could write, it's not that sunny because it's so cloudy. Oh, I need double speech marks. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, and then obviously you want to wrap that text because it's being cut off, and the way we did that was up here on the template. If you see, where did we do that? We did it somewhere. Here it is. So on the loading label, we added a text wrap, and let's add that to the summary as well over here. So it should look like that. Cool. And then so just play around with it. If anything breaks, then just send us a message on Instagram and we'll send you the code of where we left off at the end of this course. But yeah, the best way to learn is by doing, and not just by doing what someone else is doing, but doing something you want to do. So have a think about how you could make this weather app useful for yourself. Maybe you've got certain actions that you take depending on the weather situation. So you could make the app tell you what to do in that case. Right, so we're going to leave it there for now in terms of changes to the app. So if you want to share this app with your friends or family members, then you can do just basically what you did to get the app on your phone. You'd have to basically tell them to download the Playground app and then send, maybe download this image or send that image to them so they can scan it. They might need to view that image on a separate device, because I couldn't find a link that you can just send them. That would have been nice. But yeah, just tell them to open that QR code on someone else's phone maybe, and then download the Playground app and scan it, and in that way they can see what you've made. So there's a question saying, in the 1 month course, are you covering more languages or just NativeScript Vue? So we're going to continue with NativeScript Vue because it's simpler, and I guess because everyone here is now a bit more familiar with it, it's probably best to stick with that. But I mean, if there is a demand for a different language, then we can do that one as well. Cool. So what's next in terms of our 1 month course? So what we're going to do is we're not going to continue with the weather app, just because, I mean, there's so many weather apps now, and that's not a reason why you shouldn't do it. But I think we can, but there is there's a trend happening right now to do with meditation apps, and I think it would be amazing if everyone who's doing this course just takes advantage of that trend. So since last year, people have been downloading meditation apps, in the millions. Mental health is a big issue these days, and even more so since the coronavirus and lockdowns. I mean, so in 2019, the top 10 meditation apps pulled in $195 million just in in-app purchases. And I mean, there's been so many articles recently about the surge in downloads of meditation and mental wellness apps during this whole pandemic, and this is just going to increase and increase. So I think we should jump on that trend, and also it's valuable for the human race. So you're doing something good as well at the same time as learning how to make an app, how to launch an app, and submitting an app. And also, what we're going to do in that course is, if I just scroll down, right? So first of all, because of all these articles, there's going to be so many. A lot of people are now going to be creating meditation apps. Well, whoever can afford it, because not everyone knows how to code, so it won't be that many, but there still will be a lot of meditation apps being made. So I'm going to help you define a niche, and what that means is, so if you think about it, there's 7 billion people on the planet, and for you to make an impact, even just getting 1,000 users would be amazing, and that is such a small percentage of the whole population. But to do that, you have to target a specific audience, and so I'll help you do that. For example, if you're making this meditation app, each one of you should have a different audience, or one or two of you could have the same. But let's say everyone's doing English language meditation apps these days, so maybe if you're from a country that speaks a different language, you could tailor yours specifically for that language, and that might it might just hit off. So we'll help you define the audience for that, for the app, to give you the greatest success possible, because it's easier to market it's easier to market an app to 10,000 people than it is to 1 billion people, because those 10,000 people like this certain thing, or they speak this certain language, so you can use marketing graphics and images that will also help you with using Facebook ads or Google ads. So you'll learn to code by doing all of this, which is great. I mean, I started off by I wanted to launch an app, and so I learned to code by making that app. But in the end, that app wasn't successful at all. But as a byproduct, I'm now a software engineer at at a top company. So the worst case scenario out of doing all of this is that you'll have a new skill, and you could get a job that could pay you well over 50 to 100k a year. So in that app that we make, the meditation app, it's going to be quite simple. So if I show you some other meditation apps, here's one called Meditate. So whenever you open this app, they're asking you for to basically pay $4 a week. But you can close that, and you can access the app for free. So let's say a user, they start doing all of these things, and then as you can see, where is it? Yeah, so there's certain parts of this app that requires you to make a purchase. So we're going to do the same thing. We'll provide you, or we'll direct you on where to find these resources. So there's a lot of free meditation, what's it called, audio files that we can download, and so you can just download those and give those away for free, and then maybe find some more exclusive audio downloads that you want the users to pay for it. Because once people get hooked on your app on the free stuff, they're going to want to pay. Right. So we're going to go through the whole submission process, submitting the app to the Apple and Google Play stores. That will be covered. And so you would have made the app, it would be in the app stores, and we'll help you with all of the graphics as well. There's a really nice tool that will show you how to use, and you can use that to create some nice marketing material, as well as giving you a template for a website with free hosting. So you'll just download a template, you'll add your own screenshots of the app to it, and maybe change the colors, and we'll show you how to host that on a free hosting platform. So you'll have a website as well. The domain you'll have to purchase yourself, but we'll direct you there, and that's only, I think, $10 or less per year. And then we'll go through all of the marketing strategies and give you some templates. So that will be, you can do free marketing. There's a lot of ways to do free marketing, as well as, you could use Google or Facebook ads or Instagram or TikTok ads. Probably the main free way that we'll go over is using TikTok, because right now it's an up and coming platform. I mean, it's being used by a lot of people right now, but it's still not at its peak. If you look at Instagram and Facebook, they're at their peak usage. TikTok's still growing, so you can get on that trend as well by posting cool marketing material of your app. For example, I just posted an image the other day, and it got 150 views, and I've got no followers. So if I had followers, it would have been in the thousands. So this is a paid course. So I mean, if you were to get someone to make this app for you, it would cost anywhere between $3,000 and $15,000, depending on who you go for. You can go for a cheap freelancer, or you could go for the top development agency. We're not going to charge that amount of money, because this is a DIY approach. You're going to be doing this yourself, and also the plan is to make a new app every month or two, so that once you've got your meditation app and you're doing the marketing for it, hopefully you're earning some money from that, and then you might want to create another app to give you the same experience. You might want to just do like a spray method, where you just make loads of different apps every month and see which ones bring you the most money and then focus on the ones that do. But this meditation app, I think, this is definitely going to be the one that will work for you in 2020. So basically, for the first 100 people who sign up, it's going to be a £199 1-year subscription. And that's going to include access to all of the material, downloadable code at the end of each lesson, or you can even just download the full code at the end of the course. And then all of the templates, the marketing strategies. You'll have access to a support group where you can help each other out, and I'll be there as well to help you out. And if for any reason, for any technical reasons you can't submit the app, or this course is just not for you because you weren't able to launch the app, you can have a full refund. That's as long as you try your best. But if for any reason you just can't launch the app onto the app stores, then you will get a full refund. That's fine. And I think I know a lot of you are students on this course, so for you guys, I know £200 and £199 upfront cost is too much, so you can just pay £19 a month, and you can cancel that at any time. And again, this is limited time only. So yeah, and this course is going to start. So as long as we get some sign-ups this weekend, it will start on Monday. If not, it will start on the first Monday after we get the first sign-up. So I hope that's of interest. Again, for the students, this is a limited time only offer. So I'd recommend you get on this now. So if you want to become a member, so if you go onto onemonthapp.com like this, and so click onto the first headline, meditation app, have a read through again of what you're getting, scroll all the way to the bottom, and then just click here to become a member. You'll give it your email address, and then you'll be redirected to a sign-up form, and then there you'll have the option of either paying monthly or on an annual basis. I think you get 2 months free if you do the annual one, but that's totally up to you. So as long as we get some sign-ups this weekend, we'll start on Monday, the Monday coming. And are there any other questions? Right, so sorry, there was one question from Abube. Are we going to get emails to register for the 1 month course? So yeah, there will be an email sent out so that you can sign up for the course, and it will just go over what I just said in the last 10 minutes. Or if you want to register now, then just go on to onemonthapp.com. Cool. All right, well, thank you everyone for doing the 5-day course. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you've got a nice looking app. If you're not happy with how it looks, then spend the weekend making it look good. And again, post what post your app's screenshots into the Instagram group or on your social channels. And hopefully I'll see you on Monday. Right, take care.